Hey everybody, welcome back to Final Fantasy IV The After Years Part 13. I think it's Part 13. Oh well. So we just gonna have to go deeper into the depths, and we'll get this black garb. But you didn't get the fire scarf for Edge. Is actually a pretty good piece of armor for him. Or any of the other ninjas that you brought them. So we'll just keep going. This place is pretty straightforward. There's a few branching paths so you can get like armor or items or something, which I just usually don't get. But let's go get these. Why not? A cottage and a silver hourglass. And the silver hourglass I will never use. I don't know why. I just usually don't use those items. Oh, I got crystal mail though. That's good. Probably give that to Kane, considering he has all the other crystal items. And I'll get this ribbon. If anybody who's played Final Fantasy before knows ribbons are like the ultimate piece of armor. There's a random battle there. Actually, those were two random battles, but they're so close together. I decided just to cut them both out, have my character jump, or have Cecil jump ahead. And here we are, the next set of bosses. So let's see here. We fought Final Fantasy 1 bosses, Final Fantasy 2 bosses. So I wonder what we're fighting here. And for those of you who've never played Final Fantasy 3, well, you're about to see what the bosses are there. And we have Kane and Cecil talking about their past. Now on this stage there are two really hard bosses and two really easy bosses. I'll take out the two hard ones first. I thought I'd just tell you that ahead of time. Mostly because during these scenes I really don't know what to say about them. We're just talking. Am I saying we'll talk about what? Well, they're just talking about Theodore. Well, actually, Cecil says thanks for helping me out, and Kane says, well, I'm not doing this just for you. And then Cecil asks him what he thinks about Theodore, and he says, well, he's a lot like you, but he's stubborn like Rosa. Or he got that from Rosa. And that's... Oh, here we are. See what you think about Theodore. He's earnest, but he's stubborn just like Rosa. Or must come from Rosa. Perhaps. So... Oh, he also says because the other reason he came back is because Biran is his homeland and it always will be. So, well, that's that. Okay, now here's something that I couldn't remember which monster it is, but before each one, until you meet the I don't know exactly. I don't know if they changed his name in this or not. But until you reach a certain boss, you cast float before you fight every boss encounter, because there's one monster you need float for in order to survive it, basically. Unless you're really over-leveled, which I'm not. Given I was really under-leveled against the Final Fantasy 1 bosses. Anyway, here's Sybaris. If you know about Greek mythology, you know who Sybaris is. And you play Final Fantasy 3, then you know Sybaris had a really annoying tactic of attacking 3 times in a row. And he has that effect here. He mostly uses magical spells. He has all 3 elemental spells: Zaga, Firaga, Tharaga, as you just saw. So if you want to cast Shell, you can. You don't need to. And he doesn't really have any kind of weakness. You just have to hope to pound him out destroy him before he destroys you. And I can't really give you a strategy because there isn't one. It's just an endurance battle. Of course, now he does have a few physical attacks, but he's mostly just gonna hit you with spells. Of course, you got the fire scarf for Edge. Edge is never going to die in this battle. And you brought Rydia along. I don't know if it's just programmed that way or what, but Leviathan does a lot of damage. So you brought Rydia. Battles around here are going to take a lot less time than they normally would. If you really want to, you can use the Final Fantasy band. I just never did it. If you don't know how to use it, you search for bands, and then you use Edge's Smash to grab, Rydia's Black Magic, Cecil Attack, Rosa White Magic and Cane Jump. I said that before, but just in case you didn't watch that part, or you just started watching it here, or something, and just thought I'd throw that out there for you. So of course he's throwing more magic at us. Sounds weird. Now, if you really want to, he doesn't have a weakness. So like I said, there's no strategy. You just hope for the best. So there I am casting Shell, and of course I'm floating. So. Cerberus, if you don't think you can withstand his magic attacks, he isn't going to hurt you too much. So. And of course I see that while two of my characters are dying, so. Oh, just remember that Edge does have healing spell, does have a healing ninjutsu, heal pill, so you can go for that. So Cecil's down. I should have really probably healed him faster. But that's what Arise is for, and that's what Phoenix Downs are for. And of course, you have X potions to heal for. If you need to heal, you have X potions, and you don't have time to wait for Rosa. Of course, if you really need healing and you think you can make do with a Kira spell, you have Kane and Cecil who know Kira. But you can see Rosa and Reddit aren't getting too hurt by those spells, and Edge isn't getting hurt at all. So if you really need to, you can just cheese this boss and just let Edge take him out. If you have the Fire Scarf. And there he goes, he's dead. Oh, there's a monster here you should watch out for called the Crystal Dragon. Oh, I forgot about the item. Thor's Hammer. If you played Final Fantasy IV on the GBA or PSP, you know that was Cid's strongest weapon. So you can quit to Cid or Luca in this game. And on to the next monster. Recast and float. Okay, Twin-Headed Dragon. Oh, in case you want to know, these are monsters that were the Dark Warriors in Final Fantasy III. I thought I'd just point that out. Cause I know Final Fantasy III is one of the games that was harder to play, unless you live in Japan. Because in Europe and America, the only place that was ported to was the DS, and you don't have a DS, then you're kind of out of luck. Twin-Headed Dragon, he can now, unlike Cerberus, he can't attack 3 times, but he can attack twice. He also has the constrict ability, which will paralyze your characters for a certain amount of time. It's not for the whole battle, and you can. Sorry, that's weird. Anyway, you can instantly cure it by using a remedy or using inertia. So if you really need your character, you can just use it there. I know the first time I played this game, this monster gave me a lot of trouble. Like, I had to sit around and grind a couple of levels before I could take it out. He also hits pretty hard, if I haven't said that already. So, we'll just use the Phoenix down and board him. He can even take people out on the back row pretty easily. I mean, if you really want to, you can probably use Protect and limit some of the damage, but that won't do a whole lot of help for you. As you just saw there, he can also paralyze your characters just by physically hitting them. Now that it's usually won't happen when he physically attacks you. It usually won't paralyze you, but it has a chance. I don't know what the percentage is or anything, but see right there, yeah. So we'll just use Tidal Wave and lower him a bit. The last boss was the longest. Now, if he constricts Rosa, you might want to go ahead and heal her, considering she's going to be your primary healer. Unless you brought Porom along, or I guess you could bring Lenora along, and she'd probably be just as good. Because I know a lot of people like Porom more than Rosa. Because Porom learns her spells faster. But, you know, I just like Rosa a little more. So. I find Rosa has better defense and magical defense than Porom. And there she goes, constricting her again. If you really need to, you can use Edge's healing pill, but he's probably better off attacking. In retrospect, I probably should have been using Sky Grinder, but oh well, can't change the past. It's funny, I've been finding a lot of dragons lately in video games. I've been playing Legend of Dragoon lately, and there's a lot of I've been finding dragons in that game too. Really fun though. If you haven't played that, try it out. Kaden really does have a lot. He's probably gonna be your. I know you can't see me, but tank in air quotes, because he's probably the one who gets the most HP in this game. You know, probably by level 99, Cecil and Kain and probably Edge will probably have 9,999 HP. Yeah, so, like I said, there's not much to say about this. That's the one thing about Let's Play RPGs. You have this interesting thing to say during the boss battle, but against certain bosses, there's just nothing to say. Like this one, he just hits hard and uses spells and attacks twice. Now, you see those wings, it doesn't look like those wings can really support him. It's pretty big. Oh, and if in case I haven't said it before, near the save point, you saw like a little green thing. Yeah, that can take you back to the upper levels where you can buy X potions and Phoenix Downs, and a few other things. Excuse me. So that was that. That was okay. Those are the two hard ones. Now for the two easy ones. Holy Lance. Oh, that makes Kain stronger. Okay, this is the boss that you need Float for, and you'll see why. Okay, I don't know exactly how you say that name. Chinda, I guess. I think that's Spanish or French. I'm not sure. But anyway, so this is the boss you need Float for, and you'll see why during the battle. That's why. He has the Quake spell, but as long as you're floating, he can hurt you. And the flare spell and the Quake spell are his two big attacks. And since with float, you've negated one of his bigger attacks. Actually, Quake is actually his strongest attack. Flare will hit you hard, but Quake will hit all your characters hard. He also doesn't have a whole lot of HP. He has the second least in this room. His physical attacks don't hit you too hard either. The only thing that is going to hit you is his flare spell, as long as you're floating, and it's not going to. As long as you heal afterwards, it's not going to kill you. You don't even need to use Kiraja. I mean, you can use Kiraga; it'll be just fine. I wonder what he's hanging on to anyway. The ceiling, or looks like stalagmites. Or stalactites, I think what they're called. Yeah, stalactites. Stalagmites are on the floor. Actually, you played Final Fantasy 1 on the PSP or GBA, you probably fought these guys in the Earth Shrine. And I think they were also on the cell phone port. And there he goes, using the Quake spell again. And I'll respond to the Quake spell by kicking her ass. I love that this guy just keeps using Quake spell, not hearing us. There he goes, dead. Now you might have thought that was the easiest boss, but it's not. The next boss is the easiest, as long as you have Phoenix Downs. Okay, I've got new weapons for Rosa, or any other person who uses bows and arrows. Okay, so restock on Phoenix Downs, I just cut out me healing there. Even though I probably really didn't need to heal for this boss. Meet Arimon, the Persian demon. So what you just saw was one of his two attacks. Doom and Haste. And that's all there is to it. If you played Final Fantasy IV before, like the actual Final Fantasy IV, you might have never Plague who did this to get the Holy Lance for Kain. Now this guy is even more pathetic. Because Plague, he didn't cast Haste, so all your characters die at the same time. This guy, he just casts his Haste like an idiot. Now the reason this is bad for him is because all your characters die at different times now, and you can use Phoenix Downs to revive the ones who die before the other. Say like we're Cecil and Kain. I can just bring them back now. And as long as one of your characters have Doom cast upon them, he will not cast Doom again. See? But of course, now I can revive everyone else. One more thing, this guy's weak against bow and arrows, so Rose is really going to help in this battle. And now you can just keep hitting him, and you don't even have to heal, because he will never attack, he's just going to cast Doom. But one thing, you probably shouldn't summon or use black magic, because she might be able to get one off if you're lucky, even with haste activated. Unless she doesn't have Doom cast on her, then maybe but otherwise, just don't bother. Although one thing about Cain that you can do, you can use jump, which I didn't do in this battle, and just escape his doom spell sometimes. But oh well. There he goes. Oh, that was pathetically easy. And that's a new weapon for Edge. So I'll go see y'all next time on part 14. So see you then.